Greetings. Let's make an interactive card today. I'm using the Mama Elephant Wiper Surprise, and I'm using these measurements to make an A2 landscape card. I'll put them in the description as well. And then I've got Lawn Fawn Stitched Waves border. And so I'm getting this sorted out, trying to figure out where I want these waves. I want the back to be higher and a shorter front and kind of have that contrasting look. So I'm going to run these through the die cut. You have to kind of through twice and connect those edges to get the full length, but this is the finished product here. And then I'm going to take this 7" by 1". I'm scoring it the same way, and it's going to be the sand. And so I use the Lawn Fawn hillside borders to do this. Once again, you're going to have to run it through twice to get that full length, but it's going to fit just like this. Perfect. Now I'm going to add some contrast by ink blending with Salvage Patina Distress ink. So this is the back piece. I want this to have a little bit of contrast back there. And then on the front, I'm doing some inking on the front at the bottom. And then to get it a little darker, I'm using Peacock Feathers Distress ink. Then for the sand, I'm going to add a little bit of shading with Antique Linen Distress ink. Then blending that up from the bottom. Looking great. And then I'm going to spritz it with some water because that distress ink activates a little bit. Gives it a little texture. And then I'm going to take my Kuretake pearls, gems, and starry colors. The light blue and the dark blue in the pearls and gem, and then the gold from starry colors, different variants of those splattered for the sand. So that gives it some look, and it kind of looks like bubbles kind of coming up. So I liked how that came out. And then I've got the Lawn Fawn Christmas fishes, and then I got extra little shell that was wrapped up with the beachy Christmas. This with my Olos, and I love the cute little kelp look for the tree. And then it's got these little pieces that look like they could be lights, and the little shells. And I wanted the lights to kind of have a little bit of extra, so and also the little star. So I'm putting glue over each of these, and I'm just pouring some fine iridescent glitter on top. Gonna let that dry off to the side. Go in and get these cute little critters. I didn't put the faces on them yet because you might smear it with the willow markers, so I'm going to wait to do that at the end. With some purple for my jellyfish. Kind of actually worked pretty well with the colors I chose for the greens and the reds. It blended pretty well to use that color purple. Getting my crab together, getting some rocks. Gonna have a whole bunch of little accents to have along the bottom here, and then I'm gonna add some fish and their cute little Santa hats. Goodness, I just love this set. It's so much fun. The whole under the sea theme is just super cute. So here's the faces. I've got him singing a Christmas carol, and then my jellyfish is going to be giving you a little wink. I didn't stamp it all the way, so I'm just taking a fine liner to just darken up that line. So I didn't use a Misty. I couldn't go over it again. So I'm gluing down all these characters. Put the jellyfish up on a little bit of foam so that that'll have a little bit different dimension. Putting some foliage across the bottom, covering that connection with a rock so it doesn't look like it's just hanging out nowhere. Some presents, my cute little crab. I think I also put this fish up on and then 'tis the season to be jelly. Perfect. Now here's the hardest part of the card, right? Is just picking the right piece and then just folding it just right and then gluing only that little triangle piece there. So lining up the front where it's going to be where you can't see it where I chopped it down. You want to leave as much as you can because you want some structure to this mechanism. And then I'm taking double-sided tape and I'm putting a strip of acetate. And I cut a long one because I wasn't sure where I needed it to be. And we can trim it down after we're done. What I want to do, I want to make it look like a fish is jumping out of the water. So I'm gluing down the right side, only at the goes right to the top of the water line there. Then gluing down the left side. So this is the same way you put together any wiper card, whether it's the Lawn Fawn one or the Mama Elephant one. Waiting for this to dry a little bit. Then, as you can see, that acetate is flipping up and down and actually not too long. So I'm just going to go with this height, actually. Him on the acetate with double-sided tape, and he perfectly clears the left edge. So this is perfect. Look, he just bounces right up, and Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again next time.